I'm Alex van Tonder, and I'm the author of This One Time. And I have answered a few questions for It's a Book Thing. And by a few, I mean a whole bunch. I thought about my friends when I was writing this book and the people that I know and the worlds that we live in. We're online a lot, we're on Instagram, social media, we're consuming so much information, and I wanted to write the kind of book that they would want to read, the stuff that was familiar to them, the context that's familiar to them. At the time that I was writing This One Time, that was around 2012, and I was observing this thing happening online, which was this kind of genre emerging called revenge porn. It was men posting photos that their girlfriends had sent them while they were still together, and they were kind of doing it without their permission after they'd broken up in an act of revenge and anger, and were kind of entire blogs dedicated to it. What fascinated me at the time that this was coming out was that there was nothing in the law that stopped these guys from posting these pictures, and in fact there was nothing that these women could do to get their pictures taken down. They couldn't really even lay a charge. The law just hadn't caught up with the technology. I was watching these women getting angrier and angrier. One revenge porn blogger did actually get stabbed in the street by one of these women who had tried everything to get her images taken down. The law is finally starting to catch up, but for the last 3 years it's kind of been a wild west in terms of who can post pictures that people have sent. Brody Lomax, he's a worst case scenario. He's not only condoned but encouraged and tweeted into this massive position of power. He's on the cover of magazines because of how powerful this idea of this Brody Lomax becomes. Jacob is completely overshadowed because of what is done in Brody's name. Jacob ultimately pays the price. Is the book inspired by Stephen King's Misery? Yes, definitely. It's kind of almost like a modern day tribute to Misery. If you look at the story of Jacob / Brody Lomax, how he talks about ideas, how he admits that a lot of the ideas on his blog aren't even his own, how the age of the internet means we are constantly copying and pasting, we're screenshotting and we're reposting stuff as our own, and he's done a lot of the same. His own terrible downfall, his own terrible fates within his context couldn't be completely original. Another story I'm very inspired by is Frankenstein. He is remembered as a monster. In fact, the monster takes his name. But Victor Frankenstein is actually just a very, very ambitious and smart doctor, and he creates a being just because he can, because he's excited about technology that he doesn't fully understand. I think that social media is something of a kind of wild new technology that we don't fully understand yet, and we're not completely emotionally mature enough to handle yet. So with Jacob, he creates this character who does become a monster, but not only does he become a monster, he creates another monster in Alicia. I'm fascinated by the relationship we have with our online profiles. For me, Brody Lomax represents a very extreme form of online celebrity, but in a way he also represents all of us. Even normal people do start to kind of objectify themselves a little bit. I heard the other day a story of a woman whose friend will phone her and ask her to like her pictures that she's posted on Facebook. Jacob becomes someone he ultimately isn't because he's chasing likes. He is trapped in this cage of affirmation. He needs his phone and he needs his fix and he needs his followers to egg him on to be someone. When he's in Alaska and he's trapped in a bed and he can't reach for his phone, he doesn't know who he is. All of us in a way do chase likes now. We are constantly posting and sharing, and we are looking for each other's approval. We're all getting a taste of what it's like to be a celebrity these days, because we all have these personas online. We all have followings. Even if those followings are people we know, we do still project this idea of ourselves, which is a very curated version of ourselves. Why did you want a female antagonist to be a caricature of batshit crazy? A lot of it's told from Jacob / Brody's perspective, and what Alicia does, her role in his life, is really to challenge all of his perceptions about women, and well, all of his perceptions about the world, about his life and where he's at and what he thinks he is and who he is and actually who he's become. There is a bit of a twist, so I can't give too much away. You can buy my book, This One Time. You can buy it 2 times or 3 times or 4 times. It's online at Amazon and at Exclusive Books and at any bookstore really. And you can check out my website, alexvantonder.com.